Karen's voice screeched through the phone like a banshee auditioning for a horror flick. "There's a criminal destroying my view with his filthy farm," she wailed, oblivious that I, Sheriff Mara Cole, was the one she'd just dialed to tattle on my own brother, Tom. Standing in my office, badge heavy on my chest, I felt my jaw clench as her tirade painted Tom's small organic pharma labor of love since Dad died some apocalyptic eyesore. She didn't know I'd been out there last week, helping him fix the irrigation system she'd now accused him of weaponizing to flood her pristine lawn. I grabbed my keys, my gut churning with a mix of fury and dread. This wasn't just a neighbor spat. Karen's call was about to unravel everything Tom had built. By the time I pulled up to Tom's farm, the scene was chaos incarnate. Karen, in her designer sunglasses and yoga pants, stood on the property line, brandishing her phone like a grenade. Tom, covered in dirt, was shouting about the irrigation pipe she'd sabotaged, water gushing uselessly into the cracked earth, drowning his fledgling tomato crop. The air was thick with dust and desperation. Karen's 911 call had escalated her petty grudge into a full-blown crisis. She'd claimed Tom was stealing water and poisoning her land. Her lies had drawn not just me, but a county inspector, who was now eyeing Tom's farm like a vulture circling a carcass. The broken pipe wasn't just a repair bill, it was evidence that could shut him down. Karen's smug grin told me she knew it. "Ma'am," I said, stepping between them, my voice low but sharp enough to cut glass. "You're accusing my brother of crimes you caused." Karen's face froze, her phone slipping slightly in her grip. The inspector raised an eyebrow. Tom's eyes widened, but I held up a hand to silence him. I pointed to the shattered pipe, the water pooling around wilted plant stems, entire season gone. "You broke this, didn't you?" I pressed, my gaze boring into her. Karen sputtered, her righteous mask cracking. "Two was protecting my property," she shrieked, but her voice wavered. The inspector scribbled notes, and I could see Tom's hope flicker. This was the moment. Karen's lies were teetering, and I was ready to push them over the edge. I turned to the inspector, pulling out my phone to show photos I'd taken last week of the intact irrigation system. "This was working fine until today," I said, my tone steady but laced with steel. "Ms. Karen here has a history of complaints: fences too high, chickens too loud, even the smell of manure." I stepped closer to her, my badge catching the sun. "But vandalism? That's new." Karen's face drained of color. She tried to pivot, babbling about community standards, but I wasn't done. I radioed for backup, citing property damage and false reporting. The inspector nodded, now eyeing Karen's manicured lawn, where muddy water from the broken pipe was pooling. Her own sabotage was literally flooding her paradise. Tom's farm was dying, but Karen's lies were drowning her. The cuffs clicked on Karen's wrists as my deputy arrived, her shrieks echoing across the fields. The inspector ruled the sabotage deliberate, sparing Tom's farm from immediate shutdown, but the damage was done. His crops were ruined, his savings gutted. As Karen was led away, she screamed about lawsuits, but her voice was just noise now. Tom sank to his knees, staring at the muddy wreckage of his dreams. I knelt beside him, my heart splitting. "We'll rebuild," I whispered, though I knew it'd take years. Karen's call hadn't just broken a pipe, it had fractured a family's legacy. That night, I sat on my porch, badge off, whiskey in hand. Karen faced charges, but justice felt hollow. Tom's farm was on life support, and the town was buzzing not with sympathy, but with memes about Karen versus the sheriff. The irony stung. Her call to destroy Tom had made her a laughingstock, but at what cost? I looked at the stars, remembering Dad's pride in that land. We'd fight for it, Tom and I, because giving up wasn't in our blood. But as the wind carried the faint smell of ruined soil, I knew some things like trust, like hope didn't grow back so easily.